What's up, everybody? This is Armand from ArmandDB.com, top contest prep coach, CEO of DB Army Supplements. Today, we're going to talk about a subject everybody loves to talk about, always get the most hits on these videos, and it is, are your steroids real or fake that you're taking? Um, I can tell a client 100 times the same question. So people will send me pictures of stuff they're taking. They'll send me, questions about. Let's just start with the labeling, and this goes back years and years and years. But let's talk about current situations. Okay, so someone will send me, "Hey, is what I'm taking real?" They'll send me the picture of it, and they'll send me the box of it and everything. And what I tell them is, like these days, you can have a box that looks amazing. You can have a real pharmaceutical brand that you could copy exactly to the T, the serial number that looks real. So you really don't know if it's real or fake, but people will continue to ask, is this real or fake? So I'll get some clients sending me a box and they'll ask me, is it real or fake? And I'm like, I have no clue. And they're like, well, send in, I'll get another picture. It's like, is this real or fake? So you got to understand these you can, for $5,000 you can get a printer and that makes these amazing labels and bottle the stuff and all that. So that's a big frustration, I guess, for coaches and for the competitors or whoever's taking it. But there's no way to really tell except there's some tests out there. Two different companies make the test where you can actually test the product and see if it's real or not. It'll tell you which compound it is, but it doesn't tell you what milligram it is. So that's a problem too, because let's say I have a bottle of, whatever, let's say like Primobolan, which is a very expensive compound, and I want people to think, it's real. I'll put maybe like 1/100th of what's in there, and it'll still show positive. So people are like, oh, this is real, and really you're going to get no effects from it. So when I get pictures and from clients or other people saying, is this real? My answer is always, I don't know. And they're like, well, shouldn't you know? You don't know this brand? First of all, let's talk about brands. There's really no brands except the brands that come from the pharmaceutical companies. So they're like, have you heard of this brand? So, my little daughter could say a word, and that could be a brand I can make. It could be like, whatever, tech pharmaceuticals, and it's not even a real brand. It's just someone made up that they're making their own line underground. And like I said before, I made another video talking about all the raws coming from China, how that was ceasing to happen, and we don't know where people was going to get all their gear from going forward. Now, since this, the corona, it's really messed stuff up for other countries that we're going to send raws over, like Italy and Europe and the Middle East. So I think in the next year or two, we're really going to see people's physiques suffer a lot from it. But let's talk about the label. So let's say I get the label, and it's like, I don't know, or some people will like, I tasted the liquid and it tastes like this. You can't tell from that either. All steroids are, it's a compound which comes in a powder, suspended and mixed with the liquid, whether it be cottonseed oil, grapeseed oil, and then BA alcohol mixed in with it. So you really can't tell. That's a huge problem. So when people ask that question, I always give the same answer: is I don't know. The only thing you can do, like I said, is test it. Roidtest.com, they have tests where you can. It's like a test process, so you can get a compound and test it 3 different ways to see if it's real. Are there errors in it? Of course there are. But things like Primo, Anavar are faked a lot, and I really haven't seen that many real of those compounds in my life. But no, you cannot tell if it's real or fake by just looking at the label. They make amazing labels, and then people will take it and they get the placebo effect. So they think it's working because the bottle looks good or something like that. So I mean, that's really all I have to say, and there's really not much left to elaborate on it because people, they think there's, since I've been around so long, since I know so much, it's different these days. 10 plus years ago, it all came from, like Mexico, where there were actually pharmaceutical companies making this stuff. Now, Joe Blow makes a brand name, and there's thousands of different names out there. Or let's say an underground brand gets a good name. Let's say like Tech Pharmaceuticals or something. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm making it up. They get a good name, and their stuff's very, very good. Their stuff's strong. Another person might take that exact label, exact model, and everything, and start making their own stuff, and it's junk. So you got to be really careful because you're putting this stuff in your body, and you don't know what it is. And unless you're getting it from the doctor or straight from the pharmacy, you don't know what you're putting in your body. And someone made it, and the person that made it is not a chemist. They're not somebody. People's always like, well, I've got this chemist friend that made this, and this. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you're a chemist, they're not making steroids. They're working for a big time company, Snapple or something like that, doing that as their job for a chemist. They're not going to risk their career and their degree in chemistry to make steroids. That's ridiculous. So who's making this stuff is anybody can do it. They would order the raws online, the powders, all the ingredients you need. Anybody can do it. It's not rocket science at all. And it just depends who was sterile enough. Some people would actually get, they would set up a laboratory maybe in a room in their house, and they would actually try to sterilize it as much as they could. Is it completely sterile? No, it's somewhere in your house. These compounds are being made in laboratories. So that's my answers for everything out there. The growth hormone, the anabolics, everything. When I get pictures, we don't know if it's real or not, and that's what sucks. And it's an answer like people don't want to hear. And I'm just glad I'm not competing at this point anymore, and I don't have to worry about taking any of these compounds. That I can just take my Dr. TRT and just do that. But like I said, you cannot tell. I'm saying this so many times because I get this question asked so many times, and people send me pictures of their stuff all the time, and they're like, is this real? Or my friend said, this brand is good, this brand is good. There's no brands. Or if there's a brand, 10 other people can copy that brand. Questions or comments below. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to make a little more videos. The funny thing is, I like making other videos than these kind of videos talking about drugs, but it's the most popular thing now. And what everybody has to remember, training, nutrition is way more important than the chemical part of it. That's the icing on the cake. Back then, people would take what they could get. Now people would want to take everything under the sun. So just be careful what you put in your body. People's getting infections all the time. It can go to your heart, go to your bloodstream. You can, lose an arm, a leg from getting such bad infections. So just be careful out there. Like I said, I'm not any sort of a doctor at all. I'm a dietitian. I do people's programs for contest prep, and I advise people, I don't tell them what to take, but I will advise you what, would be a good idea to take, trying to get in shape or get ready for a show. And the number one thing out there, guys, is health. Get your blood work done. And then, blood work's not enough. You got your heart. You need to be getting echoes done, echocardiograms, stress tests, because from your blood work, you can't tell if your heart's messed up. Your blood work could be fine. There can be little indicators, but your heart could be messed up. I mean, you could have a genetic something when you're young that could be messed up in your heart, and then you take something that speeds it up and you have a heart attack and die, and it all can have been prevented. But most people I meet, they're so cheap, they'd rather go buy all these compounds and all these chemicals than rather take their health first. And all these top pros that have made it a really long time, most of them are really smart people, and they took their health into consideration first. I know we've seen a lot of deaths lately. Bodybuilders are late 40s, early 50s. Those are usually the guys that were the bigger guys, like around 300 pounds, and that's just hard on your heart. That's not a specific compound. I'm making this video, it's pretty simple. Sometimes when I get too detailed, people don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have a question or answer, comment below. You can send me a private message even, and I'll make a video on it just so people, I don't make anything off these YouTube videos. I don't make enough of them, and they're not monetized, but I want people out there to have the knowledge that I didn't have coming up, or, there's so much bad information online from these little skinny YouTubers that have abs and weigh 160 pounds giving out advice what to take, or they think it's funny to take, everything under the sun, and they're, 18, 19, 20 years old. There's life after your body. You want to have kids. They might not think it at the time. I never wanted to have kids until I got older, but it's a short span, and you can stay in amazing shape. And if you depend on the drugs, I'm sure you'll see a lot of bodybuilders out there. They were massive when they were competing, and when they retire, they get so small and they lose everything. When I retired, I kept pretty much everything. That is because I would go on, and I would go off longer than I would stay on. People don't have to believe it. I really don't care. I'm just telling you the truth and what people need to do to take care of their health, which is much more important in bodybuilding. Used to be, people would make sacrifices because they can make a lot of money from bodybuilding. That's not the case anymore. There's no money in it like there used to be. Few can make money, but just be careful with your health out there, guys. And like I said, there's a couple testing kits you can get out there. I know one's name is roytest.com. I don't have any affiliation with them. I don't get any kickbacks, but you can actually test and see if the compound is real. Like I said, it doesn't tell the milligram, and they even have a growth hormone test now, because I know a lot of people, they were selling peptides as growth hormone. Like I said, also, it won't tell how strong the growth hormone is, but it will tell, it's a simple test, and it will tell if it's real or fake. Anyways, take care of your health, guys, out there. That's number one. And subscribe to my channel. Put comments below any videos you'd like to see made. I'd like to make more training videos, because that's really what I enjoy to do. But I make these videos because this involves the person's internal health and can knock a lot of years off people's life if done wrong. Thank you, guys, and take care.